That's why people. Hey, hold it. That's why people are angry with Ice Cube. They got emotional like I did. They should have just been disappointed. They shouldn't have been angry, myself included. But when you're dealing with a known liar, a known bullshitter, and a spin artist, why are you meeting with this dude? See, it's easy to use the excuse, oh, I'm at the table. But if you're at the table with a bullshitter, you're not really at the table, right? I'm listening.
No, I agree with you there. I definitely agree with you there. And see, I think the general public, like myself, you, who came up on those albums of you.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about the black man and the white man trying to disillusion us and everything else. You see what I'm saying? From that era, that quote that Q first came in the game with since the 80s of the NWA era to his solo career. He's been talking about how the system is corrupt and fucked up and everything. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, for him to retake that, we so over that in as a sponge. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because Ice Cube, he's 40, this, that, and third, but it's like, okay, before he even went to meet with people, he said it don't matter what party he meets with, what are y'all gonna do for black people? That was his agenda.
Mm-hmm.
When he first made the whole announcement.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who I sit with.
Mm-hmm.
What are y'all gonna do for black folks? So now, even with the Roland Martin interview, like you said, he's still dealing with Trump people, but in certain things, and I gotta shout out Roland Martin too, in certain things that Q didn't answer, that Roland Martin rolled out questions that he danced around with. You feel what I'm saying? So, I don't know, and that kind of got me iffy on the agenda of me personally. I was like, okay, I want to wait and see. Because not only you should be meeting with Trump people, but is you meeting with the Biden people too.
No, he's not meeting with Biden people because they were, to me, they were honest enough to say, you need to talk to us after we get in power, because to have a conversation with us today is pointless. See, everybody took it as they spinning us again, but what happens if I meet with you and you don't get elected? It was a waste of time. And why? And they see people with this concept of at least you got a seat at the table. And then these same people would say this to you: all money ain't good money. So one of us lying then. Because if all money ain't good money, why are you sitting at the table with the devil? Because that's what you're doing. See, and it's because that's why I said I shouldn't have been angry, should have been disappointed, because he should have been smarter than that. And as you referenced the questions with the situation of Roland Martin gave him nothing but underhand softball questions, and Ice Cube either refused to swing or missed altogether. He gets angry when Roland Martin asks him, so what do you say to the people that ask where have you been before this? His response is, I was making rap songs, I was making movies. What were they doing? See, until this George Floyd thing happened, I thought things were getting taken care of. Where in the almighty hell in America where you living when you thought black folks were getting a fair shake? When you got Travis Scott, Ahmaud Arbery, when you got Breonna Taylor, when you got Tamir Rice, you got Freddie Gray, and the list goes on. Where in the hell have you been, Ice Cube? His answer was literally, I didn't know this was happening. So
therefore, whatever you got going on,
educate yourself before you open your goddamn mouth.
right?
Because you made yourself look like a goddamn fool.
He should have just waited, like you said, he should have just waited till whoever won the campaign and then went there for the agenda.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you going in before the agenda and then everything else. It do make you look skeptic. I don't know. See, and time will tell what will come out of it. You know what I mean?
But see, here's something else before you go.
I think they took the meeting based on, well, especially Trump meetings. I think they took the meeting because you know their agenda. They want the popular black vote. And they think Ice Cube is an icon, he's a rapper. He can have that influence on young people.
And that's why you don't take it. Because we saw this game plan played out 4 years ago. 4 years ago, Martin Luther King III, Steve Harvey, and Kanye got caught up in the same web.
Yeah. So it's just, man, Q, he, I could say it's safe to say Q got back to Hollywood, man. You feel what I'm saying?
I don't understand.
I think he got a certain amount of people around him, investors or whoever in that whole Q Vision production. You know what I mean?
But see, I don't wanna excoriate anyone. He just went in again, as I stated at the beginning of the show. If you know your history, you know in the early 1900s, Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois came up with this. And you understand a few years later, Whitney Young came up with the exact same kind of plan. And then you understand Huey P. Newton and the Black Panther Party self-defense came up with the same plan. And then you understand in 1972, Dorothy Chisholm and the black in the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus, and Student Nonviolent Coalition, and all these black NAACP and all these black organizations met in Gary, Indiana, and they came up with the exact same plan. And then you got several dozen organizations that have been pushing for this since the 70s and the 80s, and they have been getting very little. They've been getting very little tread going forward. So, or if you are going to use your celebrity, what you do is, like, you went and talked to Dr. Claude Anderson. So you go to the Heritage Foundation, created by Dr. Claude Anderson, and you get with them and you help them push their agenda with your celebrity, not sit your ass in front of the world and say, I know I got this plan. And then you got people who've been working their ass off their entire lives behind this very thing that you created, and their plan is more extensive than what you created, and they looking at you like, yeah, you got a plan, but it ain't this detailed, and it's not going to be as effective. Why didn't you just come again? We keep separating ourselves from the pack because we want to be individuals, and now they can pick off all those. Now it looks like nobody had a plan. Nobody had a plan. Well, we can't. See, at least he did. We can no longer at least nothing. At least he did something can no longer be part of our conversation. Because
well, man, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna look good for Ice Cube at the end, bro.
You know what?
You know what I mean?
Because of the way.
I'm not trying to write him all the way off, but I think he should just try to leave no other than the radar for a while.
You know what, man? The reason I'm disappointed in Ice Cube is because he shut off his mouth before it seems that he loaded up his brain. And he's talking out both sides of his mouth. You listen to the Chris Cuomo interview, and he popping off. You listen to the World of Martin interview, he popping off. But then he turns around and does a 180 2 months ago with the Shannon Sharp interview that just debuted on the Club Shay Shay podcast, He said, hey man, we got to get the bad cops out and let the good cops do their job. He said that in probably July, August. And that's two totally different messages that he's sending out. And it's just the brother need to get with up.
Not trying to cut you off, Rap, I'm sorry. But that's what made me think he got somebody that's really like pulling his coat and be like, oh, say this or reinstate that. And you know what I mean?
You know what? I would rather have that conversation with you one-on-one than to bury Ice Cube's name and call him a sellout like that. I know you're not saying that, but as I'm gonna talk about in a second, when in a little while when I close out my show, that's something else I'm gonna talk about. I had that conversation, and I pat myself on the back and not burying you. I had that conversation with Big Illinois on the phone, and as a matter of fact, I started up right now. We gotta stop having these conversations on the End of the Bench Build Destroy podcast. We gotta start having these conversations with me, you, D Gray, Big Illinois, Red Beauty on a conference call with us. Because when we have these conversations in public, it teaches the people who are working against us how to work against us.
That's correct.
So I'm not going to excoriate Ice Cube in that manner publicly. That's going to go all around the world, and everybody who is not on our side will hear that. But if I got something bad to say, I'm going to say it to Knox, I'm going to say it to D-Grade, I'm going to say it to Red Beauty, I'm going to say it to RC, and then and only then can we talk about these things. Because if we're talking about these things in front of the world, and the whole world see we fighting, that's how they get us, brother. Because just to, not to brag on Built for This Network, this show is in the United States, India, Germany, Canada, Chile, Panama, Mexico, the Philippines, France, Peru, just to name a few countries. Why would we talk about our cousin, Ice Cube, in front of the world, whether we agree or disagree with him?
I'm going to tell you what, though. If Pop was alive, and Cube would have did that bullshit,
you never know. You never know. But see, the thing is, you talking about 24-year-old Tupac. We don't know what 40-year-old Tupac be doing right now.
Yeah, that's true too. Might have been on the call and shit.
Yeah.
Man,
but see, Ice Cube, one thing about it, man, I don't think Ice Cube did anything wrong. I think he did something misinformed. And that was the purpose of this show today. Know your history so you can move forward. Know your enemy so you know how to deal with him. And it just looked like he jumped out of the middle of the street and said, aha, I got an idea. And now people are angry with him. People won't be angry with Ice Cube long, man. Hell, people not mad at R. Kelly for molesting our daughters and our sisters and our cousins. You think people gonna be mad at Ice Cube for trying? Nah.
Right. I think it was the fact that Ice Cube just went up, like you said, went up there, gone home without consulting. Well, he went on and said what he said, but said like you said, maybe having not just you, maybe he could have got together with some other conscious people,
right?
Like Killer Mike or somebody,
right?
And form a stable and a plan and a panel to go up there and have these talks, not just you being a representative.
Right.
See. With some type of armory and weaponry of knowing, like you said, especially like people like Killer Mike, that would have been the first person that could have hit him to the side.
Right.
That shit.
Right. But even if it ain't Killer Mike, even if it's not Killer Mike, you got people who've been in like Dr. Claude Anderson and others who are of that ilk, who have been doing this for 35, 40, 50 years, and they would have loved